Lights, camera, action. Well, turn the light on in your front room, and if you have any action, it's up to you entirely, because these film recommendations that follow are all on Freeview, so you can watch them in the comfort of your own home, and they're devised by me, Paul Ross, but mainly by our main man when it comes to all matters movie-related, one of the greatest film critics in the country, in fact, in the history of cinema. Van College joins us. Hello, Van. How you doing?
I can't possibly follow that up with anything of
There's only you and Dilys Powell, I would say. Maybe that
I would feel bad taking the crown from old Barry, but I'll take the compliment all the same.
Actually, I shouldn't mention Barry Norman because my sister is married to one of his nephews. So
really?
Even though he's now sadly gone before. Now, where are you starting us off with your Freeview recommendations? The first one is today, of course, Friday. Where shall we be looking on Friday?
I am starting you off in 1899 and the town of Sleepy Hollow for what I think for a while I did call Tim Burton's last, in fact I still call it Tim Burton's last great movie, because I don't think Beetlejuice is a great movie. But I think Tim Burton's last great, was it? Certainly was. This kind of ended his streak in 1999. This starred Johnny Depp alongside Christina Ricci, Christopher Walken, Christopher Lee, just a murderous row of talent in there, and is of course an adaptation of the Washington Irving novel of the same name, Sleepy Hollow, in which Ichabod Crane, played here by Johnny Depp, is the hapless, sort of cowardly investigator, very science-based, who is sent to the small town of the title to investigate a series of headless head-chopping murders, really, of course, and it all involves the iconic Headless Horseman. This one's a banger, I think. Did you rate this one?
I did. I thought there were great elements, to be admired of Hammer horror films as well, because it was genuinely scary at times, and it's one of Johnny Depp's better, but his only comedic performance outside Captain Jack, I think, and he's great in this film.
Absolutely. Like you say about the Hammer influence, it's very clearly steeped in Tim Burton's love of the Hammer. And you get that very early on with the homage when they start getting people like Christopher Lee to cameo early on. It's very obvious that he's lining up his creds in there. It's a great movie. Or say, real banger. You can see this tonight on Channel 4 at 10 past midnight. I give you a bit out of step for the Christmas run because I'm very seasonal for the rest of mine. But I give you Johnny Depp being given his assignment in Sleepy Hollow.
Here we go.
3 persons have been murdered there, all within a fortnight. Each one found with the head lopped off.
Lopped off?
Clean as dandelion heads, apparently. You will take these experimentations of yours to Sleepy Hollow, and there you will detect the murderer. Bring him here to face our good justice. Will you do this?
I shall.
Remember, it is you, Ichabod Crane, who is now put to the test.
Dun, dun, dun. That's a good old film, that is. I'll be watching it. I'll be setting the call for that one. I'm going for something far more predictable. We mention it once a year. It's normally associated with a bank holiday, and it's we feels like we're in the holiday season already because Christmas is only next week. It's on at 12:45, 1:45 in the Old Money, filmed for this afternoon from 1963, directed by John Sturges, written or co-written by James Clavell and W.R. Burnett, who between them wrote, James Clavell wrote loads of best-selling novels about Hawaii and things. W.R. Burnett wrote the novel that Little Caesar, the Edward G. Robinson film, was based on, hung around in Hollywood after that. It is, of course... No, not Mary Poppins. The Great Escape, of course, with an amazing cast. It's like, as with the Magnificent Seven, only even more of them, because you also got unlikely actors, like John Layton, the pop star who had a Joe Meek-produced hit called Johnny Remember Me's in it. The man who becomes Shuey McPhee in Crossroads, the chef, is the one who runs into the wire when he tries to keep escaping being in with the Cooler King. Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, Richard Attenborough's in there as well. Gordon Jackson, who went on to be Mr. Hudson in Upstairs Downstairs, and then was in The Professionals. The cast is amazing. It is brilliantly, conceived and shot in a very workmanlike, classic Hollywood kind of way, and it really does fly by. I must have seen it. I mean, you must have seen this film dozens of times. I must have seen it at least 24 times over the years, and I'm always enthralled by it. And even though I know the kind of moving moments, the Donald Pleasance moment with James Gunn, all that kind of stuff, it's still a great and gripping film.
It's one of those you can just revisit over and over again. But there are certain films that just transcend that mark and become just effortlessly rewatchable over and over. You can rewatch The Great Escape exactly as many times as you could rewatch The Shawshank Redemption, for instance.
And in fact, I think, there was a remake not really. I mean, it's a different kind of film of the Magnificent Seven. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about remaking The Great Escape because there's no point. Absolutely no point, is there?
No, you really wouldn't bother, would you? It's like they've never tried to remake Casablanca for a reason.
No. And quite right too. Anyway, it's 12:45 this afternoon. Great Escape on Film 4. Here's a chunk of the old original trailer.
Hours ago, minutes ago, these men were behind barbed wire, locked in the strongest cage that man could devise. These men plotted. These men dared. These men lived. The Great Escape. This was the camp. These were the staggering odds.
This is a new camp. It has been built to hold you and your men. It is organized to incorporate all we have learned of security measures. We have in effect put all our rotten eggs in one basket. And we intend to watch this basket carefully.
Very wise.
There will be no escapes from this camp.
How many are you taking out? 250? 250?
Yeah.
You're crazy. You ought to be locked up. You too. 250 guys just walking down the road just like that.
Great film, that is. And what's your second recommendation for us? What should we pick out from the Saturday schedules, please, Ed?
So, Saturday afternoon, 25 to 2, so 1:35 on Channel 4. Richard Donner's 1988 offering. This comes after the first, but before the second of the two Lethal Weapon movies for director Richard Donner, who at that point, of course, had already brought us The Omen and Superman. This is his take on A Christmas Carol, starring Bill Murray, updated for the late 1980s, and reimagines Ebenezer Scrooge as Francis Xavier Cross, the chairman and CEO of NBS, a thinly disguised version of NBC, who, instead of being, a tyrant sort of coal merchant type and a loan merchant, is the head of a broadcast network. And so you get the three ghosts coming to basically school a TV executive and make him see the error of his ways. And yet, it might be, for my money, the best alternate version of A Christmas Carol ever attempted.
It's an absolute cracker, this film. I'd forgotten completely about it, so I'm looking forward to it. When can we see this one? When's it on?
So Channel 4, Saturday afternoon at 1:35. I've got a clip for you, and this is Frank dealing with the impending knowledge that he is about to be tried for his crimes in life.
Here we go.
Frank, you are in trouble. Big trouble.
All right. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that you're right, that I am in big trouble. What exactly would that mean?
Look at me. Look at your future. Now, if you don't change your ways, you're going to wind up doomed, just as I am. 1 minute. I'm on the 14th hole at Wingfoot, lining up a putt. A heart attack later, I'm a worm feast.
No. You're not a worm feast. You're an hallucination brought on by alcohol, Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl.
It's a theory, isn't it, that one? I love that performance from Bill Murray. Now, I was torn for tomorrow's recommendation. I wanted to mention on Talking Pictures TV, 9:05 in the evening, Twilight's Last Gleaming Zone, which is a line from the American National Anthem, of course. So say can you see by the dawn's early light, the Twilight's Last Gleaming. And it's an interesting film about a renegade American general breaks out of prison and gets some nuclear missiles and says, I'm going to launch these, probably at Russia, not because of the Chernobyl vodka, but because he said, unless you reveal some documents, top secret documents about the Vietnam War, and so it's a great kind of modern paranoia film. And Robert Aldrich is always a fascinating kid, Dirty Dozen, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. He gave us Kiss Me Dead. He's a great film director, and this is one of his finest hours, a late period of Robert Aldrich. Instead, though, I've gone with a film that is technically on today. Sorry, it's on tomorrow, Sunday, because it's on 1:05 in the weeks when I was a Sunday morning. It's my Saturday recommendation. It's the middle film from M. Night Shyamalan's trilogy, which was Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. It's the middle one, which has got an astonishing central performance of, the actor is almost irrelevant because he plays about 28 different characters in this film, and it's about the superhero from Unbreakable who pops up right near the end, spoiler alert, and about this person who, one of his personalities is some kind of weird beastie serial killer, there's murders going on, but he kidnaps a load of young female co-eds, I think they're called in the States, and we don't know what's going to happen to them, but they need to get out of there post-haste before this beast turns up. It's a real melon twist that made an absolute fortune, which I think was fair enough, because M. Night Shyamalan put all the money up for it himself. I think it cost him like $16 million or something, and he made something like $500 million out of it, so fair play to it. And then there was a sequel, so it's on 1:05 in the wee small hours of Sunday morning, but in fact it's Saturday overnight, I'm saying. It's on 5 Star, and it's a cracker, and here's a bit of the ever so slightly creepy trailer from Mr. Split personality himself, Douglas McAvoy.
What are we doing here? What the hell is going on?
I was sent to get you for a reason.
Open the door! No!
There's a flower on the pillows, a flower in the bathroom. Like, we're important.
The only chance we have is if all 3 of us go crazy on this guy.
Who is that? Maybe she can help us.
We're here! Help us! We're in here!
Don't worry. He's not allowed to touch you. He knows what you're here for. He listens to me.
Great performance. Did you enjoy this film, Van, when you saw it?
I did, to be fair. I thought McAvoy was really terrific in it. I remember thinking at the time, this young actress has got some screen appeal. And then, of course, she turned out to be, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
So I did like the sort of reveal, because it was kind of stealthed. It was kind of slipped in there stealth-like, that it was part of the Unbreakable canon. I did think that Glass really let it down, though. Like, it had everything going for it. Then you got to the third one.
So I love Glass for that really weird, almost double ending, when suddenly that restaurant to the other that kind of stuff. The other conspiracy emerges. But, that's why we love having you on the programme, because we often disagree about films. My final recommendation is for Sunday, and it's definitely a Sunday film, because it's on 11:50pm, 10 to midnight, and it's from the year 2020. It was the film that was meant to be getting us all to go back to the cinemas and sit alongside other people without masks on after the pandemic. It didn't quite do that. It did manage to fascinate and confuse most of us who saw it. I think it fascinated and confused some of the stars of it. It is from 2020. It's called Tenet, which is like a held belief or a law. I'm finding it difficult to summarise what it's about. It's kind of, revisiting, rerunning time, knowing the future, trying to protect the future, having a police force with weird powers, and strangeness ensues and some amazing stunts. I mean, could you sum up Tenet? What do you think it's about, Van? We can't really do the sentence, can we? It's not one of those films.
I think, if I'm trying to piece this together, I think it is about a clandestine agent who is known solely as the protagonist, who is enlisted to stop an arms dealer played by Kenneth Branagh from using illegal arms purchased from a point in the future at which they have become inverted and therefore do not obey the flow of time, and stop him from using these weapons to destroy the world. I think.
It doesn't involve red pills and blue pills, though, does it, this one? That's Matrix, which was equally confusing the first time I saw it.
Pills would help, though. Pills would definitely help.
But you may well be not working Monday morning. You may well have had a sniff of the barmaid's apron, which may make Tenet more comprehensible, possibly. I'll be recording it again. I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times already, but it's on 10 minutes to midnight, Sunday night, BBC One, Tenet, and here is a completely unhelpful chunk of trailer, which will only add to the confusion.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones, too. Use it carefully.
To do what I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
Something worse than Armageddon. It's not going to be, is it?
Deep Impact?
Van Wilder Party Liaison 2. Surely it can't be that bad. Right, so that's the Tenet film, which is my final recommendation. What have you gone for on the last Sunday before Christmas, Van Connor?
But sadly, it's not Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj now.
Actually, was there a Van Wilder 2 then?
Yes, there was 2 sequels. There were 2 direct-to-DVD sequels. There was Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj, which starred Cal Penn and took him to England in a spin-off adventure. And then there was Van Wilder 3, Freshman Year, I believe, which was a prequel. But they'll never hold a candle.
Soon it'll be Van Wilder running for US president. Now, that wouldn't be a bad format, would it? That
would be a great reboot call.
As a pitch. Okay, so what's your final one? Thankfully not involving Van Wilder. That's why you're great. You know those kind of things.
Well, one I do know a lot about is the greatest Christmas movie of all time, which is on, and I will not have that debated. This is Sunday night, 9 p.m. on Channel 4. It is, of course, the one, the only Die Hard, based on Roderick Thorpe's novel, Nothing Lasts Forever, originally pitched as a sequel to Sinatra's The Detective. It is the greatest Christmas movie ever made, in which John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, is the dad who has to reunite with his family on Christmas Eve. But of course, he has to get through a hostage/terrorism situation in a high-rise LA building first, led by Hans Gruber, the inimitable late great Alan Rickman. It is the bangiest of bangers. It is, as I say, it's the movie I go to every Christmas. I watch Scrooged with my family every Christmas, but I will always make sure that I watch Die Hard every year. And so it is on this Christmas for you, Sunday night on Channel 4 at 9 p.m. Do you pay homage to John McClane every Christmas, Paul?
I do, and I love Die Hard 3. Die Hard 2 was a bit of a misfire, but Die Hard with a Vengeance was great. The other two, I think there were 2 more I could kind of put up with. But I saw Die Hard I saw it the year it came out, but I saw it before it came out in this country, because I was, for reasons that I won't go into too, I was filming on a plane going to Tokyo. I then had 3 hours in Tokyo and came straight back. On the flight into Tokyo, and I hadn't taken a book with me, very unusually for me, they said an announcement. As Emperor Hirohito just died, and they said, because he'd snuffed it, no films would be shown on flights into Japan. They showed 2 films, one about origami and one about flower arranging, for the 11-hour flight. And on the way back, I checked, and I had a couple of books I bought by then in my 3-hour stay, and they showed Die Hard. I knew nothing about it, and I was blown away, and I was constantly telling people, you know that bloke off Moonlighting who was in a couple of dodgy film, Sunset, about atomics that didn't make it? He's going to be a new action hero. How they mocked me, and I love this film with a passion, probably equal to that of my second wife, whom I love above the other 2 wives. If you're listening, girls, I'm joking. Right, so when can we see Die Hard? Talk about that true confession now.
You can see this, Channel 4, Sunday night, 9 o'clock. I've got a clip for you. It is John McClane trading barbs with the villainous Hans Gruber over the radio.
Here we go. Can't wait for this one to be back on.
Mr. Mystery Guest. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to open the front door for me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another American who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks he's John Wayne, Rambo, Marshall Dillon?
I was always kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually. I really like those sequin shirts.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
One line from that film was passed into like Ross family vernacular, which is, you should have heard your brother squeal when I broke his flipping neck, which is about it's a great film, some great kind of, and what I love about this one as well is one of the first films I remember seeing which really made the television news crews in America the enemy. Because it's the news crews that kind of constantly threaten what's going on with the hostages. So there's 3 great films from Van Connor, 3 from me. Van, can we have a chat, just say Christmas Eve, about some Freeview film recommendations for the actual holidays themselves?
That would be my holiday pleasure, sir.
Marvellous stuff. Yippee-ki-yay, mother flipper. That was a fantastic Van Connor there talking to me, Paul Ross, new guys on talkSPORT and on Talk. Well, we're live till 5, and that's a wrap.